Hello traders, and welcome back to Mindfully Trading, where I share educational resources relating to trading the Forex market, as well as an insight into my journey as a full-time Forex trader, as well as a full-time mother. It's been a while since I have shared a video like this on my channel, so I thought that I would do a complete trading review for the month of July, looking at my performance, focusing on my performance in my funded account with the prop from the 5%ers. Going over past performance and in particular reviewing monthly progress is so important for growth and development as a trader because it allows you to see important statistics, it allows you to have a look at your accuracy, your biggest losers, your biggest winners, and more importantly, it gives you the opportunity to be able to learn and to grow, to take that forward into the next month and to ultimately constantly become better as a trader. And that is what my goal is with my monthly review, and it's why I want to share that process with you guys so that you can have an insight into how I do just that. So as always, all of the resources I'll be using in this video will be linked in the description below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into the review. So here I am on my platform here on MetaTrader 5, and this is the broker data that I have trading with the prop from the 5%ers. I have created a separate video with more information about the 5%ers, so I will include that above. But for those of you who don't know, it's basically a company where I trade their capital and we take a split of the profits. Now I am still undergoing the challenge with them, and so I am trading this in a particular way to manage my risk, just to help give me a heads up for the challenge. But ultimately, as you can see on the screen here, July was a very positive month for me. I managed to finish not only green, but I managed to make a nice 2.5% growth on the account. Now, what is important to note when you look at profit and loss is your risk, what you are risking. So for example, for me, I think of risk in terms of percentages rather than currency, and my usual risk will be 1% of my entire account equity per trade. Now the account size I've been trading is $100,000, so that should equate to risking $1,000 per trade. However, as I mentioned, I am in a challenge, and so I have reduced that risk by half until I manage to build a sufficient buffer on the account before I feel more comfortable increasing that risk and risking more money. It's just a risk management technique to help to create a buffer, a safety net if you like, to get me furthest away from that max loss as possible. And so instead of risking 1% per trade, I've actually been risking 0.5% per trade. So for me, risking 0.5% per trade, making 2.5% profit in a month is a really good result. And if I was using my usual risk, that would be a 5% win for the month of July. So as you can see, I have taken 5 trades in July. A couple of those were break-even trades. And the other 3 were winning trades. One of them was a larger win. So I'm going to go through briefly each of these trades. I'm going to load up a chart screenshot of those for you now. So the images here that I've highlighted are the trades that I actually took. And the other images are trade plans that I created where I either didn't execute or my order wasn't triggered. So I will look at those separately. But firstly, here is the break-even trade that I took. All of these trades are trading one pair, and that is pound dollar, and it's using a day trading strategy. It incorporates a combination of market structure, it incorporates ICT concepts, as well as concepts that I've learned from other mentors in the past, including the Story of Price, Warrior Trading, and Rocks FX. If you want some more information about the day trading strategy that I use, I have created a separate video, so do check that out in the link above. But here is a screenshot that I took of the trade, which ended up break even. Now I remember this day, I had to actually go out with my son this day, so I couldn't be on the charts. Therefore, I used this really large stop and really large target. And as you can see, it didn't quite reach my target. By the evening, as price came down, there was FOMC news release due out, so I did set a break-even stop, which I don't always do, but I did on this occasion because of the news event that was due out, just in case it went against me, and that was why it was a break-even trade. So the lesson from this would have been, obviously, to be able to be on the charts a little bit more, to refine my stop and my target, because price would have hit if I had just made them both a little bit smaller. Moving on, the next trade that I took was a 1.5R winner. So again, that would usually be 1.5% profit. But on this occasion, using half of that risk, I actually made 0.75% profit. And this was actually trading NFP at the beginning of the month. I had the initial push up from the news release. I used the simple Fibonacci tool to help calculate a pullback entry long, and then price went up and hit my target. So there wasn't really too much to learn from that. That was just a nice winning trade, and I actually waited all week for that one, so that was a good use of patience. The second winning trade that I took was a larger winner. This is where I made 2R, 2 times my risk, which equated to 1% on the account. Now, as you can see, I did suffer quite a bit of drawdown. It came fairly close to my stop, but my stop held, and in the end, price swung higher and hit my target. And the final winning trade that I took in my account for July was a 1.5R win again, trading pound dollar. And I actually set this in the morning session during the London session because I was going out and there wasn't any major news due out for the US dollar in the afternoon. And this was just one of those beautiful trades that doesn't happen all the time, where it just triggers you in and it just drops quite nicely to your target. So they were the winning trades that I took that resulted in my profit. I have to admit that when I reviewed my performance, I was surprised because I've only taken 5 trades, 2 of which were break even and 3 winners, but 5 trades in 1 month. It doesn't seem like a lot of trades, and I was surprised myself when I saw that. I have had some family commitments going on in July, so I did miss a week of trading, which obviously has affected it. However, I think it's really interesting to see how quality is so much more important than quantity when it comes to trading, because in the past I would trade and trade and trade. I would place a lot more trades than 5 in a month and wouldn't always win, wouldn't be green at the end of the month. So it's actually a really nice feeling to feel like I'm spending less time on the charts, more time with my family, which is what it's all about for me, and yet still making good profit at the end of the month. It goes to show that it doesn't really matter how many trades you take, it's just more important on which trades that you take. And for July, my focus was on taking A quality trades. So it's quite a nice feeling for that to pay off, and I can only hope and trust that I can keep that momentum going and roll it over into August. But before I talk about August goals, I just want to have a quick look with you at the other opportunities that I missed for July and how that could have affected my overall profit for the month. So here is a screenshot from a trade that I didn't take in my account. I had the forecast planned. The reason I didn't take it was I was waiting for the New York Open. That was the session I was trading, which is this green highlighted area here. Now in this box, as you can see, price dips down, it sort of grabs the liquidity from the bottom and it spikes up. And I was looking for a long. Before we had this drop down and spike up, I had this forecast plan here. Now, what I wanted was for price to break this line and then come back down to trigger me in. I wanted a break and a retest entry. I was playing it safe. However, looking at this and my reflections from this trade was that as the New York session opened and price dropped down below where my initial entry was, I could have placed a buy stop order because there wasn't any news due out, and it would have accounted for this move, the fact that we grabbed liquidity and forced up with such momentum. If I had placed a buy stop, it would have been a safer entry because it would have triggered me in with the momentum push up. However, if it didn't do that and it continued to go down, I wouldn't have gotten triggered in because my buy stop order was above price. So that was just a little lesson I had from this trade, is taking into account news and if there isn't a news release, and how I can manage different order types to reflect that side of analyzing a trade, where technicals meet fundamentals. Because obviously if I had set this trade, this would have been a really nice win. It was 2 times my risk, and as you can see, it would have gone pretty much straight up to target. So definitely good to try to learn how to capture these winning trades in the future. Now I'm just going to make a little note of that here because I think it's quite interesting to see where my other trade ideas would have played out, where they would have come in and how it would have affected my overall P&L. So I've put 2 there in reflection of that 2R trade that I could have made but didn't. So moving on to the second example. Now the first trade was one that I have actually, I did take in July, and I shared that with you on a separate image. The second trade I didn't take because I had taken the first trade. I had a win that day, so I sort of walked away. However, I was still watching this and I did still create this plan, but I just chose not to enter it because I was already green on the day and I didn't want to push it. This is proof to me that just because I've taken a winner doesn't mean I can't not trade if there's an opportunity there. Because if I had taken that second trade during the New York session using the Fibonacci strategy that I follow, I could have basically just doubled my winnings for the day because it was another 1.5R win. So my takeaway from this is that if there is a trade opportunity, if there is an opportunity for an A quality trade, take it, because there may be days or maybe even weeks where there are no opportunities. So you've got to take them while the market provides them. And here is another opportunity that I missed. This was on the 12th of July. I vaguely remember this one. I had been watching the market during the New York session and hadn't had an opportunity to get in because price just went up and it never gave a pullback. Now, I made this little plan here. And as you can see, price would have come very close to my stop, but in the end it would have played out. Now the reason I didn't get into this is because it was right at the end of the session close, and I just felt like I didn't really want to risk it, that I'd already missed the move and I would call it a day, so I didn't set my trade. However, if I'd have just set that order, although it would have been an uncomfortable hold during the evening with this drawdown here, ultimately, overnight during the Asian session, it would have played out and it would have hit my 1.5R target. So it would have been more money in the bank. And this is the final image reflection to share with you. I know this looks a little bit messy, so just bear with me. But this was taken the last week of July, and this is when my family was over, so I just wasn't really in a position where I could be on the charts as much as I would have liked to have been. But the bottom line here is that there were two trading opportunities. The first one I planned before this price action. I just didn't set the order. I just didn't feel it that day, to be honest. I had a lot going on and I just wanted to see if it would have worked. I didn't actually set the trade. And obviously looking at this, I wish I did, because it would have been a perfect entry and it would have gone up to my 1.5R target. And then in the afternoon during New York, I had set this trade and I set it sort of just before this area here, and the spread was literally a few marginal pips from my entry, and I didn't get triggered in. After price hit my target, I cancelled the order. Kind of wish I didn't, because we got another retest here before it bounced back up to that target. So there's multiple opportunities to get into this trade in the afternoon, and I just did not have luck on my side because I've been a little bit too conservative. And again, I think this comes back to trusting the plan, letting the market play out, trying not to force it too much. And if I had trusted my plan in the morning, trusted it in the afternoon, instead of a break-even day, because I didn't make anything this day, it could have been a 3R winning day. So these trades add up and they're important, and they're the difference between not only profit and loss, but really nice profit. And you may be wondering or thinking that I'm only sharing my winners. I am sharing exactly what I did for the month of July, and not every month is like this for me, but I was so careful in July to focus on A quality trades, and I played it more conservative, that I just had a really good month and it was green and I didn't take any losers, which is an amazing feeling. And I'm trying to not take that too much to my head, because obviously losers happen with trading and I don't want them to shock me when I get my next loser, because it's been a while since I've had a loss. However, this is just a complete honest review with you guys. I haven't fixed this in any way. You can see my trading data here in the broker. This is exactly what my performance was for July. So I made 5R, which was 2.5% using half-sized risk. And then after just looking at those extra opportunities with you where I either had an order placed and I cancelled it, or I didn't set it, all those little niggly trades, if I'd have just got on with it and set it, I would have actually made an additional 8R to the overall profit, which would have resulted in 13R profit, which for me would have been around about 6.5% on the account. So it really would have made a difference if I'd have taken these. It would have given me a lot more profit on the month. But profit is profit, and I'm very happy with that. But this is where my learning is at with trading at the moment, is learning how to make more money, because that is what it is about. Once you can be able to manage your risk and be able to manage your losers, be able to avoid losing, then the learning shifts from how not to lose to how to really win and how to really capitalize on winning. And that's where I'm at the moment. So what are my goals for August? Well, quite simply is to continue focusing on A quality trades, practicing patience, waiting for the best setups, not pushing it, not over trading, all of those usual points that we need to remember as traders. And then from my review from July moving forwards, I'm also going to take into consideration news, in a sense that if there isn't any and I have a plan based on technicals, I may utilize stop orders a little bit more. And I want to really trust myself and try to just flow a little bit more with the markets instead of being too conservative, and just see where that takes me. But overall, it's important to remember that August historically can be quite a quiet month because it is the summer holidays. So there might not be as many opportunities for August as I might like there to be. But as you can see, this review is very, very simple. All I have done is screenshotted the chart images of each trade that I've taken. Once I've taken it, saved it in Paint as an image, and then just come back to it later. Previously, I did use a trading log, which was in Excel. It was a personalized document that I created with formulas that allow me to analyze each trade entry and write up notes. I don't have the luxury of time to be able to actually input that data at the moment, so I haven't been using it. But if you like something like that, if you like something a little bit more analytical to help with your reflections with your trading journey and your performance, I have got a link to that trading log in the description below, so feel free to check that out. Meanwhile, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you've gained something from it. If you have, please let me know by hitting that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel below, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.